Hi people, my name is Argandios and today I'm going to talk to you about protection paladin. I want to show you also my new turn modification because it's cool and well, you cannot obtain the weapons since Legion and the tabard you can obtain it since Wrath of the Lich King, so it's kind of unique. I don't think you are going to see this turn modification very often, I would say. Now let's go with the changes. I have bragged enough. Okay, first change, Avenging Wrath. Avenging Wrath, now in Battle for Azeroth, it gives us, well, all that says the tooltip, plus it gives us a 100% chance of our next Holy Power spell to be a critic. Now that it's loose, there is no more 100% critic, but in exchange, it is now out of the global city. No GCD turn on here in any ability, which I don't know if it's a win or a lose, it is what it is. Consecration. Consecration has a little change that is not in the tooltip nor in most pages, web pages, nor in a lot of places, okay? I'm going to turn on and you see it says damage taken reduced by 30.8%. But if we go to our mastery, Terrain Bulwark, it says that the damage reduction is only 8.8%. So they have put an extra 5% damage reduction into Consecration. Okay, this is important. So we are going to want to be overall Consecration even more often than we are. Of course, the CD is reduced by haste, as always, and well, it's very well. This is important because they have changed the damage ratio of physical versus magical damage. In BFA it was something like 70% physical damage, 30% magical damage. In Shadowlands it's going to be around 55 physical damage, 45 magical damage, so a lot more magical damage. We're going to see more tanks that have a good amount of magical damage reduction than physical damage reduction, which is one of the issues that have protection warriors, basically. Now, another thing that comes back, auras. Crusader aura, it increases the movement speed by 20% for all party and raid members within 40 yards. Now, in Battle for Azeroth, we have a passive, which is Crusader, and which gives us, only us, the paladins, the movement speed is increased. Now we can give it to all our party, very important in Ultra Paladin, okay, to go faster than our enemy or to whatever. But remember, we must activate it. So if you want to go faster in the Outworld or in Battlegrounds or in whatever, you must activate it. Okay? Devotion Aura. This one was only for Holy Paladins in BFA. Now it's for all Paladins. 3% of damage reduction. Nothing more. Nothing very exciting, but okay. You don't need a Holy Paladin now to give. Hammer Wrath. Returning for all Paladins, including, of course, Protection Paladin. Not only returns, it generates one holy power, which is the really big change that has this specialization. Until now, we were working with CDs. Okay, we have Shield of the Righteous, which have a CD, 3 charges, and we work with that. We cannot do that anymore. Now we have holy power. We can get up to 5 of holy power, and we will spend it into Shield of the Righteous and in Word of Glory. Okay, both of them cost 3 holy power, so we will have to choose, except for a passive. I will talk a bit later when we reach the point. Okay, so I'm right. Coming back. Judgment. Now it generates 1 holy power. It's the only change it has. Away from that, it still will make that our next holy power spender will do more damage. Okay, it's not really terrible, so it's the only change. Retribution aura, not a comeback, not exactly a comeback. This was a talent until now, and it was an aura before, but not with this effect. Okay, before it simply when someone hit you, you make the damage back. Okay, now when an ally dies into the aura, you get 8 seconds of avenging wrath. Up to level 56 we will have 12 seconds of avenging wrath. Okay, this is going to be a test of skill basically, because if you see someone is going to die, you have to activate Retribution Aura very fast and then reactivate Devotion. You are here, ping ping ping, someone's going to die, ping, someone's going to die, ping, someone has died, ping back, okay, to Devotion Aura. So this is going to be a test of skill. If you are skilled, you will use it right and you will have your Avenging Wraths. If not, well, you can nothing. Shadow of the Righteous, now it costs 3 holy power, so we will need to build that holy power in order to use Shadow of the Righteous. Okay, we will not be able to, as we do now, simply charge and use Shield of the Righteous, the first thing we do, and be okay. We are not going to be able to do that. Okay, we will have to build a bit of holy power, and well, that can have some problems, but in general I must tell you that between Hammer of the Righteous, Avenger Shield and Judgment, I have no problems having at least 3 holy power when I reach any kind of mob, okay, or just in the same moment I reach a mob. So it's not really terrible. Simply you have to do things right, okay, before you engage in combat, but nothing really bad or oh my god, no, it's impossible. To Neville, another comeback. It compels undead, aberrations and demons to flee, bad word, to flee up to 40 seconds. It means that you can incapacitate that kind of things, but they will go to the pool next and pull it, so you will be fucked. So you will not be using it very often in Mythic Plus, but in PvP it's very interesting because you have always a Death Knight with pets, or that turn Lichborn, and when Death Knight turns Lichborn, it becomes an undead, and then you can use to Neville to fuck him up. Very easy and very nice and very fun also because they don't expect that. World of Glory, now you can cast it in allies directly. You don't need to cast it only on yourself. You don't need a talent to cast it on allies. You can cast it on an ally directly, but it will have an increased effect if you cast it on yourself. Another aura that comes back, Concentration Aura. You might say, okay, this is not really great because it's only in silence and interrupts are 50% shorter, but I haven't seen right fights, but I have seen Mythic Plus, and there are several bosses which and mobs into the pools that have interrupts and silences. And if you have a party in which the only caster is your healer, which party member is going to be interrupted and silenced? Your healer, and you will be fucked. So this aura is more important than you think. Another skill test, okay? You must know when to use concentration aura. Hammer Wrath has a second charge that allows you to use Hammer Wrath while you are using Avenging Wrath, and that's all. Okay, nothing really. Well, Sense of Death. I was forgetting this one. Another ability that returns. It works like the Hunter ones. Okay, they can sense humans or undead, or based or whatever, well, we can censor that. It turns our minimap in a bunch of points. Ping, 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 ping. If they are undead, if there are not undead around, it makes nothing. Shortly. Now, for the protection abilities, we have Ranger Shield that it now generates 1 holy power. Okay, is as I say, with Avenger Shield plus Judgment plus the first hit of Hammer of the Righteous, you will have 3 holy power to begin the pull. So you should not have a lot of problems with that. But you must do it right. Okay, nothing of a charge without have Avenger Shield to generate that holy power. Hammer of the Righteous, a change for the bad because they have increased its CD from 4.56 recharge to 6 seconds recharge. That means that for some talents the rotation becomes a bit clunky and very slow and a bit dangerous sometimes, so this is kind of a problem. More changes. Shining Light is a new passive. Now every shield of or every 5 shield of the Righteous will make our next World of Glory free. We can cast it without the need of any holy power, okay? Or if we have holy power, it will not use holy power. We will be able to use that holy power into another shield of Righteous. And that's all of the change for the class and the spec by basis. Now let's go with talents. I will be beginning with PvP talents because there have been no change, okay? Well, above of the change for all classes and specs, that is, they have removed the trinket spells, okay, which because they are back to be trinkets. So away from that, we have the same PvP talents, no change in anyone, nothing. We are the same. Now regarding talents, level 15 have several changes. Holy Shield is the same, is the one that has not changed, but now we are not going to pick this one when there's a lot of magic damage. Okay, is the only issue. Basically, we are going to pick either Redoubt or Blessed Hammer. Redoubt. Now our Shield of the Righteous increase our strength and stamina by 2% per 10 seconds, stacking up to 3 times, which is a max of 6% of strength and stamina. You could say, okay, that's not very much, but take into account that our strength gives us armor throughout Shadow of the Righteous plus damage, and we are going to need it. And it allows to be hit harder before die. So if a boss has an ability that hits hard, we will want to be for Redoubt. Away from that, if that's not the case, so we will not need to, okay, enjoy really hit hard, or something like that, we will use Blessed Hammer for several reasons. First, it has 3 charges, which means that 6 seconds of recharge between 3 charges is much better than 6 seconds recharge with 2 charges only. Okay, so it makes the rotation smoother, and they have changed it from BFA to Shadowlands. In BFA, it only reduces the damage of the next incoming white hit. In Shadowlands, it will reduce the damage of everything, including magic damage, which, as I have said, is very important because in Shadowlands there's a lot more magic damage than it will be in or it has been in BFA. So important change here. We will go Blessed Hammer for Mythic Plus almost always, and Redoubt has its utilities in raid mainly. Okay, so we will swap between these two, and Blessed Hammer probably we will use it in raid too. Okay, but Redoubt has its uses, especially in raid. Level 25, First Avenger. No, Avenger Shield not only gives us 2 additional targets, not only bounces 2 times more, but it also gives a 100% shield when you use it. This is an accelerated power in BFA, and now it becomes part of this tab. Improve it. Crusader's Judgment. Judgment now has 2 charges, and now Grand Crusader also grants us a charge of Judgment. As Judgment increases the damage of our next Shield of the Righteous, it's a good change because it gives more damage. Okay, so for damage it's okay. Moment of Glory, another talent that has been revamped. Now it resets the cooldown of Avenger's Shield, and it will have no cooldown until we use it 3 times, which means we can use Avenger's Shield, Avenger's Shield, Avenger's Shield, and do a lot of damage. Okay, it's sincerely huge the amount of damage we can do with this talent. It has a 1.5 minute cooldown, so it's not for free, but it's a very good amount of damage. So if we want a bit of more, this gives more damage, especially in higher groups, okay, and some protection. This one is only damage. I think for raid, for single target raid especially, we will go for Crusade's Judgment, probably, because First Avenger in raid, if there's not more than one target, well, it goes a bit short, okay. And Moment of Glory, well, it's for Mythic Plus. If we have several pools that are very hard, we will want to kill them the fastest the better. So we will see Crusader for raid, and in Mythic Plus we will go between First Avenger and Moment of Glory, depending of the dungeon we use. Okay, we are in, basically, not the dungeon we use, but the dungeon we are in, and that's all. Level 30, Fist of Justice, Repentance, and Blinding Light, no changes here. Level 35, same, no changes. Unbreakable Spirit, Cavalier, and Blessing of Spell Warding, no change. Level 40, more changes. First one, Divine Purpose. The Holy Power abilities have a 15% chance to make the Hornet's Holy Power ability free and deal 20% E damage and heavy. This is from Retribution Paladin. We 3 paladins have this talent now, I think, if I'm not wrong. And well, this is a nice talent, and the talent to go if we want to use Holy Shield or Redoubt. Okay, if we pick whichever of these two, we will have to pick Divine Purposes, basically because of rotation. Okay, you can try the other 2 talents if you want, but as far as I have tested, is unavoidable. If you use Holy Shield or Redoubt, you will have to use Divine Purpose. With Blessed Hammer, you can use whatever of the 3 talents you want to use. Now, Holy Avenger. Your Holy Power generation is tripled for 20 seconds. This means you use Blessed Hammer and Shield of the Righteous. Blessed Hammer, Shield of the Righteous. Judgment, Shield of the Righteous. Avenger Shield, Shield of the Righteous, which will give you a lot of protection, okay, because sometimes Shield of the Righteous cannot overlap. It's very difficult to have it. You can, okay, especially with Blessed Hammer, you can cap Shield of the Righteous, but it's more difficult, okay. We are not always being able to do it, so take that into account. And well, this is a nice city, okay, especially with in hard fights. With the boss is going to be hitting us very hard physically for several seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds. Holy Avenger is a very good time. Seraphine, this talent is very meh, because it costs 3 holy power, so we must choose between use Shield of the Righteous or this talent. It means we will need at least 5 of holy power to use it right. And the right way to use it is we have 5 holy power, use Shade of the Righteous, we use another ability that gives us holy power, and then we use Seraphine, and then we begin to build for the next Shield of the Righteous. When is this ability good? This ability is good in raids when we are swapping between tanks. Okay, it's not a fight with a lot of mobs or two bosses, but we have one boss and the tanks we are going to swap between us. And then when we swap, we have 5 holy power warded. Okay, we begin with Shadow of the Righteous, we get another holy power, and then we use Seraphim, and then we pick rotation, normal rotation with that boss. It's very powerful in that scenario, but out of this, for Mythic Plus, is well, mobs will kill us easily. Okay, if we pick this. It doesn't mean it's useless. If you are a very skilled protection paladin, you can use it, but it's going to be hard. Okay. Level 45, Hand of the Protection, chained, because we can already use Walls of Glory in any target. So what it does is that it gives the same effect it has for us to others. It will heal and increase the amount of healing depending of the life that our target has lost. So nice utility, but nothing more. Consecrate the ground does exactly the same, and Judgment of the Light does exactly the same. So Judgment of the Light, probably the time to go for raid, and Mythic Plus in Tyrannical Week. Consecrated ground when we have a necrotic or mobs that we don't want to reach us and we want to slow them, or they cannot reach the boss or the other side of the hull or whatever. This is the time to go. And in any other case, we can pick Hand of the Protector if we want to help our healers. Nothing more. Finally, level 50. We have Scientific Growth. Avenging Growth lasts for 25% longer and causes Judgment to generate 1 additional holy power, which is Judgment now generates 2 holy power, which helps a lot in the rotation, but only while we are into Avenging Wrath, which is not sure of very often, because it has a CD. Avenging Wrath has a CD, so sometimes we have more holy power. Righteous Protector. Each holy power we spend reduces the remaining cooldown on Avenging Wrath and Guardian of Ancient Kings by 1 second. Our time to go in general is going to be this one. Okay, because more Avenging Wraths means more damage, well, and Protection of Ancient Kings, pues almost the same. Okay, and Final Stand, which does the same that actually. During Divine Shield, all targets within 15 yards are taunted. Especially useful in necrotic weeks for Mythic Plus. When we have a lot of necrotic charge, we need to put our Divine Shield to save ourselves, and because we cannot run or our healer is out of mana or whatever, we use this and ping, all is easy. We taunt all the mobs, they don't go away to the DPS and all that. It's a good utility in Mythic Plus anyway, okay, but I usually prefer go with Righteous Protector, unless it's necrotic. If it's necrotic, it's Final Stand, whatever. No talk about it. Now about the stats. Strength is going to be much more important than it is in BFA, take it into account, especially because we have diminishing returns for the secondary stats. Okay, haste, mastery, versatility, and critical strike. So haste is going to be our main secondary stat. Again, no doubt about it. Probably it will be our best stat even over 25%. Okay, even when it begins to have diminishing returns, it will be still our best stat. So we will want to go to up to 35% haste before we want to pick mastery or versatility. Regarding the mastery versatility, I think we will probably want to go to versatility before mastery. Why? Because we can stack mastery faster than versatility, and we will reach the 25 breaking point of diminishing returns for mastery much faster than for versatility. And I have the impression that under the new more magical damage, versatility is going to be more powerful than mastery, especially because sometimes we get out of our consecration. So take that into account. Critical strike, well, is there. We do a bit more damage and get some parry, but it's going to be our worst stat anyway. So as the first, mastering versatility is going to be more or less, as I say, I think versatility will be prioritized, but don't quote me on this because I might be wrong. Okay, and that's all. I hope you have enjoyed the video and you have learned all the changes over the spec. Remember, I will do a second video in the last week before Shadowlands, talking about covenants, covenant abilities, soulbinds, conduits, and legendaries. A lot of stuff. Away from that, thanks for coming. I hope you have enjoyed it. Bye bye. Have a nice day.